Hello.
Yeah, people are still joining
Hi,
in
good evening.
in
Hi,
large
good evening.
numbers, so give me a minute. And then we'll get started. All right. Lots and lots of people signing in as we speak. Namrita, are you here?
Yeah, I'm here. Chetan.
Yeah, I've made you the host. If you can just keep letting people in. So, wow, we have a lot of people here. What's the final count looking like?
We are at 51 right now, Chetan.
Oh, wow. Okay, well, thank you all. Thank you for donating to the Chirag School. I can see a lot of familiar faces. Actually, I've been doing workshops over the last couple of weeks, and Gayatri, Chirag, Aditya is here. Shalini is always here. Hi, Ashok. It's great to see you, and it's an honor to have
Hi.
you amongst us. Really,
Well, that's very sweet of you to say that.
that was a very cheeky thing to do.
Yeah, I know. It was fun though.
Yeah. All right. Great. Thank you. Thank you all for joining. So, for most of you folks, who are not doing this for the first time, I don't really have anything very new to say. And if you want to go, you can leave because it's a repetition of what you're all familiar with, which is how the FDC works, what the expectations are, how the whole thing operates. So I can see Shalini is here. I know Ram signed up again. So I can see Ram there. They are kind of the pillars of the FDC. They're always there. And Shalini is just getting her book published, and she said that some part of it that had to do with the FDC. So that's the best news possible. I mean, there's nothing more important than that somebody who's been in an FDC actually gets their book published. So fantastic work, Shalini.
No,
Congratulations.
it wouldn't have been possible without the FDC. I started writing it in November, and hopefully it'll be out there next month. And all thanks to the FDC and Chetan and Namrita, totally.
And Ram, in your case, yeah, your buddy. Come on, you can't forget him.
Yeah, of course, of course. I thought we were talking about the FDC.
Yeah. No,
Ram has been an amazing buddy.
Yeah.
Absolutely amazing.
So
You're
Shalini and
too
Ram.
kind. You're so kind.
Shalini and Ram have also published a very nice blog post about how to find your writing buddy, which some of you have probably seen. Namrita, if you could just share that in the chat as well, that would be great. So we can keep this brief. It doesn't have to be an hour. I'll tell you broadly how it works. Hi, Leena. You can see Leena and Hira also. Leena and Hira were in a workshop with me till what, Wednesday,
Hey,
Tuesday,
Chetan.
something like that. Yeah. Shalini also. Yeah, cool. All right. So how it works is very simple. You already have access to the Excel sheet. No, it's not an Excel sheet. It's a Google sheet, right? It has your name on it. And in front of your name, there are 2-3 small data points that we ask you to fill out. We ask you to fill out what is your word target. It's not so much a commitment to anybody else as to yourself, so that you know what it is that you're shooting for. We ask you to fill out which city you're from, because as things are now getting back to normal, such as normal is these days, if you want to hook up with other people in your city, you have the ability to do that. And the third is we ask you to complete the genre. So mention the genre which you're going to be writing in. So if you want to find writing buddies in either in the same genre or in the same city, you have the ability to do that, right? So that's the framework of how it works. We will be having guests every Sunday through the week. We will be having very live discussions about writing. People might share some writing samples. People might talk about their progress that is happening on WhatsApp. So all of that is part of the regular operation of FTC. People have repeatedly told us that there has been a lot of positive outcome and benefit from having writing prompts as part of the FDC. In the past, It's, up completely on his own initiative. Ram has been doing that for us. In this time, I want to see if we can set it up as a formal part of the FTC so that we are able to bring writing prompts in and we set them up in the right way and go about it in a way that is helpful. So Ram, I'll probably give you a call after this is done. Pick your brains on it. I'm not going to ask you to do it. I know you have a day job, but but because you did it, so successfully last time around, just want to pick your brains on what's the best way to do it. What is the source? How to plan for something like this, etc.
Yeah.
So we'll also try and bring that into the framework. Unlike NaNoWrimo, we don't put a target on you. We don't impose a goal on you. We let you decide what your goal is. Lady called Archana Kellogalam. Archana, are you here with us? She wrote to me today morning and she said she's writing a kid's book. If you're writing a kid's book, it might be just 10,000 words, but they will be 10,000 words that will need a lot of crafting and work. So, your target could be 10,000 words. Your target could be 100,000 words. We're leaving that to you. What story you tell is not something you need to share. The actual writing is not something you are required to share. But what we are trying to do is facilitate a community. And within that community, then, 51 people, and it'll probably grow to about 60, 65, because we've seen registrations keep coming until even the 3rd and 4th of the month. So, so within this, you can explore, have conversations, find your own, buddy, find your own cohort or a group of people that you like to meet up with. It can be physical, it can be driven by genre, it could be, it could be linked to the kind of writing that you want to do or the stage of writing that you're at. And that's how we go, and that's how this whole thing works. You will see a lot of chatter on WhatsApp. We are not allowed to send good morning messages. You're not supposed to forward any crap. Be very, very clear. I will be brutal in throwing people out of the group. We only talk about your writing and other people's writing. We talk about the FTC and we limit it very specifically to that, because that's the goal. Otherwise, we get, it's very easy to start forwarding memes and stuff like that. That doesn't help us. So that's how it operates. That's how it works. We can take a very quick look at the Google Sheet. Namrata, let me just pull it up. Or Namrata, would you want to share the Google Sheet, the one with all the names on it?
I'll do.
Yeah, please. While she's pulling that up, if there's any questions, let me know, please.
Yeah, I'm a little, if I may ask,
Sure, please.
this Google Sheet, once you write how many words you've written in on a particular day,
yes.
What are you supposed to do after that?
So can you see it on your screen now, Ashok?
Is that shared automatically?
Yeah, so
sorry?
Can you see it on the screen now?
Yeah, what I want to know is, once one is filled, how many words one has written on a particular day.
Yeah.
Is that seen by everyone, or is it shared, or what?
Yeah. So
or is it
what
just
you write,
for personal reference?
It is mainly a personal reference, but in the end of the month, we will also do some. We is usually Ram. Sorry, Ram, I'm kind of assuming this on you, but Ram will usually do some. He's the bean counter of the FDC. He's the only guy who willingly volunteers to, run the numbers and figure out and make some sense from them. But in essence, you're setting yourself a target. So I can see your name. It says Mumbai. It says 6,000, and it says the genre is realistic fiction. That's very, very helpful information. So thank you for filling that out. The target that you set is a target for the entire FTC. Okay. So you can set the target for the month. You set the target for the whole month there. And then what you can do is, let's say you write, 500 words on the 1st of February, you put that number in there. And then you write another 500 words on the 2nd, and then you write 1,000 words on the 3rd, and you don't write anything on the 4th. Whatever is the work that you're doing, just keep putting that in front of your name for yourself. And as you do that, you're, in a sense, it's your own tracker, it's your own conscience, for lack of a better word, where you get to see how much work you're doing against the target you've set yourself. And if you're writing realistic fiction, I do think 6,000 is on the lower side. But then maybe you've already written a lot and you just want to finish. Maybe you're comfortable with that kind of a target. So we're not judging you on the target that you set yourself, but that's how it works. Does that answer your question, Ashok?
Yeah, I don't have to do anything. I mean, I don't have to click anything. I just put it in there. That's it, right?
You have to write first.
Yeah, I have to write first, of course,
Yes.
and then write the number of words.
Yes.
And that's all. I don't have to send it to anyone.
No, you don't have to send it to anyone.
Okay.
You have to write, you have to enter the number of words. And what you land up seeing is, so it's a choice. I wouldn't recommend that you take what you've written and share it with the entire WhatsApp group, but you might find, other people who are looking to write something which is similar to you. So I'm just looking at this. You're saying realistic fiction, and then there is a realistic fiction, Anupam Singh in Gurgaon. His target is 10,000 words. Okay, he's
Right.
about 5 rows above you. He's number 4.
Yeah,
This is an
I've
alphabetical
seen his
list, by
name.
the way, right? So maybe you, and Anupam form a group, and you want to, review each other's work. You want to be each other's beta readers. You want to give each other feedback. We're enabling this. You're willing to take it, wherever you go. You're all connected to each other on WhatsApp. You can reach out to Anupam and say, hey, I'm also writing the same genre. Do you want to take a look at my work? I'd love to read what you've written. By all means, go ahead, find your buddies, find your writing partners, and you can. I think that's a smarter way of sharing than sharing it with everybody, because then it'll become a little too much.
Yeah, of course. I'm sorry. I didn't understand what you meant by beta readers.
So a beta reader is basically like a proxy reader for who your real reader is. So just like in the world of software and technology, there's something called beta testing, where they make a software, but before they actually put it out in the real world, they will run it by some, people who will try it out. Beta reader is something similar, but it's taken from that kind of paradigm, from that way of thinking about things, where you're saying, okay, you've written something, you share it with somebody and they'll give you some feedback. Beta reading is usually done at the end of having finished a complete work. But here, if you're budding up with somebody and getting feedback, why not?
Yeah, fine. Thank you.
Sure. So you can see the map here. All the names are there. Some people have said they don't want to do the writing. Just 1 or 2 people. I think Sheenu. Not sure if Sheenu's here. But Sheenu mentioned that she doesn't want to do the writing, but she wants to attend the sessions and she's made the donation. So Sheenu, you may not have your name on the list. I'm not sure. If you want it, let us know and we'll put you on. But yeah, otherwise everybody's name would be there. You can fill out the city, word count, and a genre. My request is don't change your target. Be honest about that. If you start the month with a target of, Geeta is starting with a target of 40,000, don't after half the month make it 20,000, because that will confuse us. So yeah, stick with your target and try and achieve it. A few things that work really well. We can do the unsharing. You can stop the sharing, Namrata.
Yeah.
Yeah. Some of the best practices and some of the analysis. Ram, as always, if you'd like to, comment.
Yeah. I will share this slide on the group also. So I had done a little bit of analysis on what typically works based on empirical evidence, the number of words that people had clocked, etc. 2-3 things that come from that. Let me see if I can pull out that slide also. One is it helps to have a reasonable target. So on the basis of what people have written, the conclusion seems to be that a target of 30,000 words is what works best. People who have had 30,000 or less words as the target have ended up writing the most in terms of writing regularly and in terms of number of words also. Logic probably is that we set realistic targets, so we go after them. We set very high targets, then very easily we are demotivated. 2 दिन नहीं लिख दिया, अच्छा ये मेरे से नहीं होगा. So that might be the logic. The second thing, it helps to get a very early start. The first 4-5 days, people who have written consistently in the first few days, maybe first 4-5-6 days, they are the people who have notched the highest amounts of word count. What I have seen is that it helps to write consistently. Even if your target is 1,000 words per day, you're writing 500-700 words, that is okay. But data shows that to write consistently really helps. So don't think that, okay, I'll write tomorrow, I'll write day after, write consistently. The third thing which was surprising for all of us is that the lowest word counts as a group were notched up on weekends. So if we are thinking that, okay, I could not write during the week, it had a busy week, I will catch up on the weekend, it has not happened. 6 days that across 5 FTCs, that has not happened. So don't put it off for the weekend. Write consistently, write every day, and have very realistic targets. Those are the really the core messages that I have seen over the past few FTCs.
All right, great. Thanks for that. Always very helpful. Ram and Shalini have been there from like one of the very first, I think the very first FDCs, right? Both of you have? Yeah. Okay. Nidhi, you have your hand up. We'll take the Q&A in a little while. I do want to talk about a couple of things before we get into the Q&A. So we'll start with Nidhi when we do that. Namrata, can you share the Chirag sheet, please? So I just wanted to tell you a little bit about what is this Chirag school and why do we support it. Shalini, just give me 2 minutes now. The first thing I'm thrilled about is that, as always, that 250 is the bare minimum at the bottom. It's the minimum that people donate, and many people go well above, the expected number. And the total amount that we've collected so far has been 43,529. So you can unshare now. So that's our sheet where we track how much money has come in. You can see some people haven't disclosed the amount that they donate. So if it's an undisclosed amount, that will get added on. So it's probably like 45, 46,000 bucks. So you can do the math, but if it's 51 people and 45, 46,000 rupees, the average donation is about 1,000 rupees. And let me tell you a little bit about the school, because the reason why we support it, it's a small village school. It has a population of about 120 kids. It's from K to 5. Okay. There's only one section in each class. The fees is 150 rupees. Some parents even struggle to pay that. I know because I've been associated with the school for about 7 years now. Both my children have also studied in it, but we paid a higher fees and we paid, the full bus fare and all of that. It's a beautiful school in the sense that it's a school where there is never any use of any fear. They don't even raise their voices. Forget about, any sort of physical violence or a stick or anything like that. They don't even raise their voices. These kids are taught in an experiential manner, which means that these kids actually learn things by doing them. They'll go out into the forest for a walk and they'll be talking about science. They do a whole bunch of very nice, the philosophy they follow is that of the Krishnamurti Foundation. If you're familiar with KFI school, so it's like the Valley School and the Rishi Valley School and the school in Chennai. So they follow the Rishi Valley philosophy. But it's a school run by village teachers for village kids in Hindi medium with a fees of 150 rupees per month. The most amazing thing about the school is that they actually achieve very, very well academically speaking. So most of these kids after grade 5, they don't have access to fancy schools and high-flying schools. So they all take the entrance exam to something called the Navodaya Vidyalaya. The Navodaya Vidyalaya is a government-run set of boarding schools. Okay, and that set of boarding schools is free from grade 6 to grade 12, but it's very difficult to get in. And for every 100 applicants, 2%, 2 out of 100 students that take the exam make it into that school. From Chirag school, they normally have a class of about 17 to 18 kids. And out of 17 to 18 kids, on average, they've had 4 kids getting in every year. So as opposed to a national average of 2%, here you're talking about a national average, Chirag, the average is 20 to 23%. That's how many kids are able to make it in. So it's a shocking statistic, because On one side, you have a school where nobody raises their voice, everybody speaks softly. The kids are actually learning in an experiential manner. They love the school. They love going back to school every day. The teachers are gentle, they're knowledgeable, but they've been trained to teach like that. And on the other hand, you have fantastic academic outcomes where these kids are all doing so well, performing really well. Of course, 150 rupees doesn't cover the full fees, and that's where the subsidy has to come in. The actual cost per child is about more than 2,000 rupees a month. Obviously, you have teachers, you have infrastructure, you have books and everything else. And so that's really where you have contributed and donated. And so I just wanted to tell you all that, the website, of course, you might have seen, and you have this vague notion, but it's very, very close to me. It's a very personal thing. My daughter went there for 4 years. My son went there for 3, from grades 2 and 3 up to grade 5. Now they've moved. Now they've outgrown the school and they've moved to another school. But thank you so much. It's really amazing that we're able to do this year on year. With this donation, the total money we've raised for the school over the last year has been a little over 3 lakh rupees. So, and it's all the FDCs and all of the stuff that's going on. So I just wanted to share that. So Nidhi, you had your hand up, and Shalini, you had your hand up. So we can go with that.
Yeah. Shall I go ahead?
Yes, please.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead, Nidhi.
Yes.
All right. Okay. After going through that sheet, my basic question, which might sound very silly to many of the members out here, is that I am confused about the genre. Because it's a relationship story between story of a couple, of an elderly couple. So I'm not even sure it is not romance, but it is fiction, and that is something which always confuses me. The genre is something which I'm never able to pin down and say, okay, this is what I'm writing about. So is that does that make a difference if I put it down, like whatever comes to my mind, whatever is the closest relatable thing I can think of?
What you're describing, I would just put it as like family drama or something. I mean, it doesn't have to be a technically accurate genre, which is what a publisher would put, but it's more that people should be able to understand what it's generally about. So if you put drama, if you put personal or family drama, the other people should be able to understand. In Ashok's case, it was a coincidence that right above him, it was the exact same genre, but somebody sees it and they'll kind of get
Sure.
Yeah.
That answers it. Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Yes, Shalini, you want to add something?
Actually, I was just wanting to add one little line to what Ram said without all the data analysis, because I don't do that. And a lot of people have asked me, so I will write about whatever works for me on the WhatsApp group. But what I wanted to say is something that had stayed with me after the FDC one. It is actually something that you had said, Chetan. It was the concept of office hours. That helps. I would really like it if you could tell the group about that again, because for me, it made a lot of difference. So
office hours is a very simple notion. Office hours is, so there is a underlying premise for FDC. That underlying premise, the name is FDC, right? It stands for First Draft Club. And the First Draft Club means getting the words done, getting the words out on paper. Knowing in your mind that you will edit later, you will sort through it, and you might junk half of it later on. But it's the first draft that you're working on. Writing a first draft is a highly creative process. And what you need to do is you need to establish a fixed time in your day when you say, okay, this is when I write. Okay, that is the concept of office hours that a lot of professional writers will adopt. But for this 1 month, if you can set that up for yourself, saying, getting into a writing routine, and you're setting yourself up saying, okay, and you have to do a little exploration. Most of you will already know when you are at your own creative best. Okay, some of us are creative in the morning, some people are nocturnes, some want to do their writing in the middle of the day. Whenever is a good time for you, you set it up like that. But set up a time and commit to that time and say that, okay, this is when I'm going to write, and set that not just for yourself in your own mind, set that up in your family, in the people who are living with you in your house, or your roommates, or whatever is your scenario. Just make sure everybody knows that, okay, from this time to this time, I am committed to write for the entire month of February. That will really help you, stay focused and stay kind of we not getting distracted. Then it becomes easier to do what Ram said, because what Ram said is don't skip a day. So if you say that, okay, I'm going to have office hours and I'm going to have office hours, for me, office hours is usually, 5 to 7 in the morning or 4:30 to 7 in the morning. I'm a morning person. I also sleep at 9. I'm not sleep deprived. So that is one way to set it up. So I know that, okay, I'll wake up in the morning, I'll do my writing, and I can edit during the day. I can do other things during the day, but that 2 hours in the morning is my writing time. So that's it. That's how the whole thing then works. Okay. Any other questions, any other thoughts or clarifications people have? Anshuman, back in Bombay, good to see you. Anshuman was with us physically here 3 days, till 3 days ago, was it?
2 days back.
Yeah, till 2
I was
days
in
back.
that room.
I can give you a glimpse of the mountains while we're waiting. So this is what the mountains look like from the Himalayan Writing
But
Retreat.
this was a badminton time, Chetan.
Yeah. So I'm sitting in a different room, but yeah. All right. So if there's any further questions, we can chat. Otherwise, finding other people, reaching out to people, finding your buddies, feel free to do all that on WhatsApp. I would ask everyone, please update your information on the sheet, because once there is information, then people will be able to find you. You will also be able to reach out to other people. I can see questions in the chat saying anyone based in Goa, anyone who's Delhi based. You can see all that information on the sheet instead of asking here, because this is a less efficient way of doing it. You can triangulate down to city, you can triangulate down to genre. You can find your own buddies. We are still accepting people to the FDC. So if you know other people who you think might benefit from what you've heard, put the word out and let them know. Right? Any questions? Anybody else? Otherwise, we'll call it good for today.
Yeah, Chetan.
Yeah,
Chetan.
Go ahead, please.
Yeah, this is Sandeep. Yeah, this is Sandeep from Surat.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is my first time
All
to
right.
being part of FDC.
Sure.
And I've written one book which contains poetries.
Okay.
And the poetries are about my experience, my journey in life, like my learnings throughout my business life. So, frankly, I feel very easy writing the poems. But again, I have one or two subjects in my mind for which I wish to pen down like a prose writing.
Okay.
Not in a poem format. So, what genre it would be if it's a story of like an inspirational story whereby I was able to connect to a lady in UK, and then we helped donating like about 200 wheelchairs to a school in India for the disabled trust.
Is this a true story?
So what genre it would be? It's a true story.
It's non-fiction. It would be called creative non-fiction or narrative non-fiction, but it's non-fiction. Creative non-fiction or narrative
normally,
non-fiction.
How do?
Yeah.
And normally, usually the poetries are classified under which genre?
Poetry. Poetry is a genre in itself.
Sorry?
Poetry is a genre in itself.
Whether it belongs to any. Okay.
Within poetry, if there's a subgenre, I won't know. I'm not a poet at all. Yeah. Okay. Any other questions?
Okay. And
yeah.
No, that's fine. And I also wish to inform you that I'm visiting the Himalayan retreat like around middle of Feb. So
you signed up for the workshop?
Meeting you.
All right, cool.
No, it's not a workshop. I don't. I'm just coming for 2 nights, just to stay in the in the retreat.
Okay, we can, yeah. Thanks for letting me know, Sandeep. Are there any questions pertaining to FDC from anybody else? Anything else that I can answer? There's 50 people here, so I don't want to be wasting your time. If you're done, we can call it quits. That's a collective load on my head, lots of responsibility. Okay, so no further questions. So get to writing. I just saved you half an hour. Go write 200 words. You get a head start for the 1st of February. And and that's really the heart of it, is getting a lot of writing done. I'm also there on the WhatsApp group. I won't be as active as a lot of other people will be. But yeah, if there is something specific, Namrata and I are always there, and we'll help you respond. If you want to introduce yourselves, if you want to talk about your own, yourself a little bit, feel free to do it in the WhatsApp group. But I would suggest that you keep it largely focusing on the writing, which is what I've seen so far. So I think we're all on the right direction. And yeah, all the best. Nail a time. Set yourself up with a great project. That's one of the good things. That's one of the important things to try and do in an FDC, is if you already have a project that you have in mind, something specific that you want to be working on. All the familiar faces here, lots of the participants, I know you all have, Chirag and Shalini and Anshuman, you all have projects already, and I know what those are. But whatever you want to work on, if you have clarity, if you have some sort of structure, if you have some sort of an outline in your own mind, it'll help you in your moving your writing forward, as opposed to going into a blank slate with an unstructured way. So that's the that's one thing that, again, people normally say that helps them. Another thing that people say it helps a lot is, and I think this was from you, Ram, where before you go to sleep, you spend 15-20 minutes and you think about what you're going to write. Was that you? You want to talk about that?
I don't know if it was me, but that has helped me. Like before going to sleep, I either plot out or think about what I'm going to write next in the story. That helps. And in fact, this is something that I've been trying out with Shalini, who's been a fantastic buddy. That either in the evening or in the morning, I just send her a paragraph on what happens in the story next. So that way I'm also creating a contract that, okay, I'm going to write that. It has, because of my tardiness, that has not really worked. But on the days I have done that, it has really helped me to get the words.
Awesome. And I love this connection between Ram and Shalini. Have you guys ever met in person?
Never.
You've never met in person. You're not in the same city.
No, she's in Delhi. I'm in Bombay.
And you don't know each other from outside of FDC. You met in the FDC.
No.
Yeah.
See, so that's so magical. I think that's just, sorry, go ahead.
And we have radically different styles.
Very.
He is so analytical, so structured, and I'm like scribbling on post-it notes while making chai, and it's radically different.
But she's very disciplined. Shalini is extremely disciplined, and she juggles being a doctor. I know how difficult it is, and she is a mother, taking care of 2 children, family, house, writing. She's now editing and writing. Well, I'm simply
just too kind. Otherwise, he knows I'll scold him. At the end of the day, why he's not got us started. That's all.
I think it's amazing.
Yes.
Yeah, so he's gonna get it from me otherwise. So he's just muscofying, nothing else.
so I think it's amazing that these two people. I think they're it's so amazing. I think I feel so proud. Although I've done nothing, but I still feel great that we were able to enable something like this, right? It's so wonderful that these two people found each other.
Very thankful to
they've been such
Absolutely
great writing buddies. Yeah. Shalini, you've had your hand up for a while. Please go ahead.
Yeah, first of all, good evening, everybody. I'm already feeling so happy, being amidst such wonderful writers, great people who think alike. And now hearing about Ram and Shalini, I'm like, wow, But yeah, Chetan, I have this, again, a humble request. I don't know how and, if that's possible, but since we have published authors also amidst us, like we have the likes of Shalini Malik, and we have Rita also, who have already got their books published. Probably some sometime if we can again have meetings where I don't know how much on WhatsApp will it be feasible to, talk, but, face to face, if we can all learn their writing processes, their routines, how did they get the book published? What was it like? What was the journey like? It would be so enriching and empowering for each one of us. So that's a humble request. Yeah.
We can talk about that right now if you have the time.
Absolutely,
if you guys have commitments,
absolutely.
you guys can exit the meeting, because in the next 4 Sundays we have 4 guests, and they are also acclaimed and very published authors.
Yeah.
So then again, in that scenario, we want to have the spotlight on them. We will have 5 to 10 minutes at the end of each day where we talk about progress, but mainly it's about them. And some people like Anish Chandi is going to be there. Incredible guy. He's one of the the few literary agents who rarely says something, but every time he says something, it makes a lot of sense. There is Sumana Roy, who's the author of How I Became a Tree. There is Meghna Pant, who's won many awards for short story, for novel, and she's written a book called How to Get Published in India. So these are all like pretty incredible people, but we do have time. So Shalini, if you want to go first, and then maybe Rita, if you're here, you can also tell us about what the journey has been like. Then by all means, yeah.
Sure. I mean, it's very unstructured though. So I'm writing what fits into what people call mature romance. I think mature because the protagonists are not peppy young people. I started writing this book in the November 2022 FDC. I had actually signed up for NaNoWrimo in July that year. I couldn't write more than 1,000 words, and I'm a very private writer. It was very difficult for me to join a big group. So I signed up for FDC. I did get a first draft done, thanks to pushing myself like crazy. At the end of the month, I was falling behind almost every other commitment in life, but I got a first draft done. More than that, I got the hang of a writing routine, wherein I tried to write every day. You can't do 1,600 words every day without breaking or cracking at some point. But I tried to do something, 200, 300, 400 words every day. And that is what helped me, because there are 2 things. One is the more you write, the more you are able to write. And the second thing, which Ram and I were texting about just an hour back, is that when you are writing, you feel good about it. When you have not written for a week or 2 weeks or a month, you start beating yourself about it, and that stops you from writing more. So since, as Ram said, that I'm a doctor, we were in the middle of a pandemic, so I did not know what my next week or next month is going to be like. I just tried to write every day, honestly. And it didn't happen. I tried to write every day, but it did not happen every day, but whatever happened. The other thing which I also tried to do, and again, the FDC was a huge part of that, was try and explore the writing world beyond writing. As in, we are all writing alone, but there are so many more things to putting that book out. It starts simply with editing, as Sir asked, with beta reading. So all that, if you do in parallel, what I mean is, you write, you edit, you reach out to people, it becomes a comprehensive thing rather than writing in a hole and then coming out at the end of 1 year and discovering all that. So I think that helps me. That also helps you meet other people, like a buddy, for example, or even, professional editors and all. So you get to know how the system works. I finished my book somewhere in April or May 2021, which is when I started querying and applying to publishers. And one thing that I would request everyone to do is go over the HWR blogs. They are a wealth of information. They have been prepared with so much effort, and the information there you will not find in any other source. So there are, for beta readers, even for book covers, how to query, what does a literary agent do? I mean, all you need to do is sit at the HW. I think even if you use this 20 minutes to do that, you will get a very good idea. So, and it's very important for me to say again that do this in parallel while you're working on the book, because it changes your thought process. It enriches your manuscript. Simple things like, do you need an editor? What kind of editor do you need? what are the different kinds of editing. So you'll find all this there. I have really no gyan to really give except for my journey. So once I started querying, again, it was a huge help reaching out to people, the blogs. That is a separate process in itself. I would not like to really mention that here. Somewhere between April and May to January 2022, it took me to sign the contract with the complete manuscript. And now we are up for publication. We are at the typesetting stage. And hopefully in March, the book will be out. So,
Shalini, did you have did you have an agent for this book, and which publisher, house, if you want to mention that?
I mentioned that, that's not a problem. I did apply to literary agents. Two of them responded as in when they asked for the full manuscript. Ultimately, one of them showed some level of interest, the other one did not show interest. But by then I had, with Readomania Publications, the publisher had shown interest. We were syncing on many levels. So I did not pursue with the agent who had expressed interest. And I signed the contract with Readomania. They have announced the book and I'm working with them.
Heartiest congratulations on that. That's so inspirational.
Thank you.
Wonderful.
It is actually a big thing for me also, because I'm totally new to the world of writing. And there's this whole thing that keeps going around about your social media presence and all. I don't know about that. But for me, it's helped me to reach out to genuine people with whom I could actually, interact and engage with. So I think some amount of visibility will help all of us. I think all of us are inherently quite shy about that, but it has helped me find genuine friends. So that has helped.
All right. Awesome. Rita, did you want to share anything with us about your writing journey?
Can you hear me?
Yes, loud and clear.
Yeah, you can't see me. For some reason, I can't put on the video. I don't know why. But yes. Chetan, this is my, I want to talk about the journey, yes. My fourth book.
Okay.
But it's thanks to FDC and to you, basically, the motivation. Yeah. So 3 books down, I felt that it was a kind of this pandemic phase, and you sort of start going under. And then I joined the FDC, and I entered into a community. Your motivation and the community. I think community worked for me, and I completed the book in that 1 month. And then came the editing and everything. So I did a lot of reading of different information you were putting out on the blog, on literary agents, on publishing and everything. And you were getting these guests who were giving us a lot of tips. So I think that journey, as Shalini said, writing is one part of it. Community plays a very important part of it, because you get inspired and you find a buddy, you can ask questions, and there are always doubts in the process of writing. And so then I went back to my old publisher who has published my earlier books, Vishwakarma Publishers. And I found the process of literary agents in India or in the US. I was based in Chicago for 20 years. It's very difficult finding, or, it's as difficult as finding a publisher. So when you send your query letter and submission to the literary agent, it will be months before they even look at it sometimes. And they get a pile of query letters. And you may be one of those lucky ones they pick up, and you may get a reply, but I feel we shouldn't get disheartened and just continue writing. I think that's the beauty of the process, that if you, in India at least, you can go to the publisher directly, and you may get a couple of rejections, but that's part of the game.
So who was your publisher, Rita?
Vishwakarma Publishers in Pune, because I was based in Pune. So he published my 2 books, Cross Connection and Despite Odds Tales of Choices.
Okay.
So the cover, I had my own private, I found my own artist because I wanted a good cover, a very good cover, and I had a concept in mind. So I got my cover done, and it's available on Amazon, of course, but I think Vishwakarma Publishers are very good, very supportive, and they give good ideas. And the process of publishing is not as painful. You've written a good story and you need to get it published. Now, the process should not become so painful that you just feel, okay, I don't want to get it published. It's terrible. It's ridiculous. Yeah.
Okay, Bill, we have Anish coming. We can ask him about all these things. We can get the point of view from the other side. Yes, Anisha,
Yeah.
did you have a question?
Yeah, sure.
Go ahead.
Hi, Chetan. Hello, everyone. I'm sorry, I do not know how to do the show of hands in Zoom, so I just did this.
That's okay.
Anyways, thank you everybody for sharing such insightful views on how the whole process works. I just have a very naive question, which always has been has been on the back of my mind whenever I write anything. I give reading a lot of importance in the writer's journey. I mean, and by reading, I'm not just talking about the research-related reading that directly contextualizes your writing, but a lot of desultory reading. For instance, right now, I am reading, I mean, you just mentioned Sumana Roy, and I am reading How I Became a Tree right now. So I do a lot of desultory reading besides what contributes directly to my writing. So I just have this question, or I would like the writers and first Chetan, you to talk a little bit about it. Is there a chance of being carried away by the style of a writer you admire when you're reading? And is there a chance of that being shadowed in your work? So do we or do we not do pleasure reading while we are writing?
So first, I I think desultory is a very interesting choice of word, because desultory also implies lack of enthusiasm. I don't think that's the case. But yeah, maybe it's a little random, which is fine. Will your favorite author find their way into your writing? Well, you should hope so. If they're your favorite author, so I don't see anything wrong in that. But I mean, it's natural, right? If you read somebody a lot, if I read 20 books of P.G. Wodehouse, I'm going to start sounding like the guy. If I read 20 books of Miss Marple, I will start sounding like Agatha Christie. That is bound to happen. But I think if you have a good mix, and if you keep reading, the most important thing is that you are reading. I think that itself is supremely important, because there's so many people who don't read enough, but they want to write. And I think then it's like, trying to build a chair without any tools. It's a very big problem. So you need to be able to read. As long as you're reading and you're informing yourself, absolutely, there will be influences. I don't think you have to worry about them too much. In the end of the day, your own voice will also come through. It's not like your voice can get overshadowed by an author you're reading. Your voice will come through, but it will get influenced. It'll probably change or alter a little bit as you're reading different stuff. And I don't think that's something you should worry about, or change your reading styles because of that. I think it's okay. It's fine. That's my thought. Anybody else, feel free to add your opinion. No? Okay. Any other thoughts or questions from anyone? Nope. All right. So 5:50. Yes, Ram, go ahead.
Hello. I want to add just one final thing, which I missed earlier. One thing that the data shows is that in the first 1 week of the FDC, everybody is very excited. The word counts are high. A lot of people are writing. But after 7 days, so I have called it the 7-day itch. After 7 days, the word count drops drastically. So whatever is a pickup for you, whatever motivates you to sit down and write figure that out, because when it hits, it will be difficult to pull back from that. So watch out for this advantage. That's what I would say.
We'll talk about it on day 7 actually, because this week is like that. So yeah, we'll definitely. But thanks for that, Ram. Pratik, you wanted to say something? Pratik Joshi, you wanted to say something? I guess not. Hello.
Oh yeah, hi. Yes. Pratik here from Sahanpur.
Go
I
ahead.
just wanted to have a problem resolved. Like I'm trying to write a novel, and it seems that more of me is entering it rather than a fiction. It sounds more like an semi-autobiographical thing.
Huh. It's your first book, right? Pratik, it's your first book? Can you hear me?
Yeah, it's my first book, first novel. I've already written 2 books of poetry, short poetry.
So that
And
happens, and it's
published.
expected.
Now, in the next thing that I'm attempting is to write a novel.
Yeah,
it's something that I expect when I try to jot down the subplot, the theme. It seems somehow that I'm writing more about myself than a fictional character.
yeah, and that's to be expected. That's
So how
pretty
the-
standard in all first books. When you're writing even fiction, you'll find more and more of yourself, resembling one of the characters in your book, usually the lead character who's the hero or the protagonist. So that's not very surprising. That's to be expected. How do you watch for that or prevent something like that from happening? Is if you can try and make a character sketch of your character separately early on in your writing, and give your character certain very specific.
Yeah, that is what I want to know.
Yeah, so you give your character certain very specific traits, define their wants and their wounds. If you have a want and a wound for a character, put those down on paper, saying, okay, this is a character want, this is a character wound, and that will probably help you keep your character more independent of you. But what you're saying is